the Bears defeated the 49ers. And it's hard to glean much from this game given the insane conditions. And as I said, embarrassing that a professional football league allows for this kind of field mismanagement. And that extends to many other teams as well. But Justin Fields, as I said, I like him. I really do. And I hope that the Bears, despite on paper them having the least talented team in the NFL, besides maybe the Falcons, in my opinion. And actually, I think they're less talented than the Falcons without the quarterback. I hope that it seems like the coaching is not bad right now, and it maybe it's just like this sense of relief coming out from under Matt Nagy, who's one of my most hated of the past 5 years. But they looked good. They looked good in terms of like their toughness. Maybe not talent jumping off the screen, but I like Justin Fields, and he seems to improve with every game.
And this is a game for a bad team that could have easily folded, but they won a rock fight. Like they won like an ugly game. Winning ugly is almost harder than having like a perfect scheme and offense like and defense execute almost like with no hitches, because that's also kind of emblematic of like a like the scheme being correct as well, and everyone
Yeah.
kind of following that to a T. I mean, in terms of you see that, of course, we even saw that with the Chiefs against the Cardinals. This is just everything and everyone firing on all cylinders. This is a team that does not have like even nearly as much talent as the Chiefs, and still won a very ugly, difficult game under the conditions, and against a 49ers team that a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people in the football world were like genuinely, and still I would say are genuinely excited for.
Well,
How did you
that
feel? How did
brings
you feel
me
about Trey Lance,
that
Emma?
brings me to the 49ers. I mean, well, again, and I want to be kind here because if I'm going to give the same grace to Justin Fields, or well, I'm praising Justin Fields, but if I'm giving the same grace to the Bears players, it was really hard for anybody to play, especially it got really gross at the end. But I was right last week when I talked about Trey Lance's difficulty throwing short and intermediate passes. He is an athlete. He's a decent athlete, Trey Lance. Do I think he's a great athlete at the quarterback position? I think that there's something about having some situational awareness, eyes in the back of your head that he lacks. He doesn't seem to have his brain doesn't seem to translate to the way that he's playing in the way that it's like instinctual for other guys. In fact, it seems difficult. And he locks onto receivers, and you can see it happening from home. And sometimes that's hard to do because a guy can like look off, but he doesn't seem to fundamentally know how to do that yet either. And if I were on the 49ers team and I knew how damn good we are at every other position, pretty much, the offensive line's kind of not as good as it used to be, maybe. But you got Debo and you got Ayuk, and Kittle didn't play, but you will eventually get Kittle back. You have Bosa on the other side. You have one of the best minds in the game as your head coach. I'd be really, really concerned about the way that continuing to start Trey Lance is going to look in the locker room. And they might win next week, right? They're playing the Seahawks next week. They're playing them at home.
And they won't have the same conditions,
And,
certainly.
right. And the Seahawks are going to be, I think they've emotionally exhausted themselves. They're coming off a short week, and they gave everything that they could to that game. But I don't know. I feel sad for 49ers fans because I'm looking at this from an objective perspective, and as somebody who roots for Kyle Shanahan a lot because I really like the way he coaches. This looks like a disaster to me.
And I think the issue too is that no matter what, we were talking about this last week, it's hard not to look at Jimmy re-signing with them after all of the scuttlebutt about him leaving, to not think that there was a reason behind that and a motivated reason behind that beyond just there not being any takers. And
I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but you'd be an idiot not to think
yeah,
that
no,
that's the case.
100%.
Or you're just a fan and you're trying to hope
Like
hope Trey Lance into being good.
Yeah, it just to me it's like if you have this guy that by all accounts, regardless of his play, is seemingly universally beloved in the locker room, has been on the field for a number of really significant wins for this team in the past, and was seemingly one of the hottest like trade commodities in terms of quarterbacks for like more middling teams. And for him to just stay and be the backup for your like supposedly hotter young quarterback that hasn't really proved himself yet, you wonder A, what's the long-term plan here? And B, regardless of what Jimmy might feel, that probably doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence in Lance that he's the guy.
Of course not. Of course not. And I think Jimmy, from what I've read and what I've heard, like listening to talk radio or reporting on this and people I trust, Jimmy Garoppolo seems to be very well liked and BFFs with Kittle and a bunch of other people. And I think it's only a matter of time before he starts, because to lose to a, despite the conditions, to lose to a objectively inferior roster, like by many orders of magnitude in week 1. If they lose against the Seahawks, he's getting benched the next game. I guarantee it. I mean, maybe I don't guarantee it, but I feel quite strongly about it, because the 49ers should be making the playoffs this year, and you can't have a quarterback holding you back like that. Shanahan is always going to make guys look better than they are. He made Jimmy Garoppolo look better than he is for quite a while, and Jimmy Garoppolo is not in the top two, not in the top. He's probably, in terms of starting quarterbacks, like what, 22nd in the league, 24th? Would you take? I mean,
Shanahan made Nick Mullins look like a dynamic rushing and passing quarterback.
And there were a few weeks when he made when he was working on the Browns, like he made Johnny Manziel look serviceable.
Right.
He was responsible for that amazing RG3 season.
Right.
I mean, he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl, and you guys like, and people are gonna be like, oh, he lost it for them too. Give me a break. He got them up 28-3. He got them up 28-3. It's the defense that's got to stop Brady and them, but it was Brady and them.
And also. He wasn't the head coach. Am I not?
No, he was not the head coach.
It was Mike Smith.
Yeah.
Mike Smith was the head coach.
No.
It wasn't Mike Smith? Was Dan Quinn? It was Dan Quinn.
Yes.
It was Dan Quinn.
So, defensive head coach, by the way. So, give me a break. But I would say I'm quite concerned about the Trey Lance as the future quarterback. And I think this is going to age quite well.